What's the name?
Good evening. How are you all? Okay. Sanjiti, you're there. Which school?
Jaipur.
Jaipur. And who is this? Anurag? Good. Which school you're from?
Jaipur.
Jaipur. Good. Ritika? Ritika, right? You're from which school? Ryan Sankar. Okay, great. Then Aditi, you're from Udal International. Where there is Nerul or and one more place. Where is it? Pacham. Then Jitneyasha, right? What is that? Jitneyasha. Okay. Where you're from? Which school? Terna Orchids. That is Nerul, na? Acha, this side. Okay. Manaswi. Manaswi. Udar International. Again, Nerul, na?
Yeah.
Okay. And Vishwaja? Ryan Sampara. Good. Okay. What you're supposed to do, you do sign off. Okay. Then we'll start with the Which topic you started? Right? School man, which topic you started? You have not started. So then the first topic, matter in our surroundings. We'll start with that, isn't it? So that is the most basic topic which you have to start. Right? So all of you, your exams went well. You got the results also. You are still waiting for the results.
We got the results.
Achha, you got the results. Have you signed? Good.
I don't think I got this scooty. Yeah, the UT volume.
You have not got the one.
No.
Okay. You haven't got. Okay.
No.
You have not got. Okay. Just find out. Give me 1 minute. Bro is coming, okay, and he will give you. Okay, na? So we'll start with that. Have you signed all of you? Okay, all the signatures are there. Good. This is your permanent signature, banking signature, and all this thing. Other card, everything. Na?
Yeah.
Same signature you will put. Dear children, now before we start with this session of matter in our surroundings, okay, we have to, for example, because today is I think so first day, na?
Yes.
First lecture itself. So it's our duty to remember the supernatural forces upstairs somewhere, okay? And take the blessings of your, let us say, your parents first of all, and your, all those forces which are working towards your, let us say, towards all the positive things, like your exam should go well, this whole session should go well here. And not only you have to pray for yourself, but also for others, that they are also giving 9 standard or maybe board exam who have given, they should get the result the right point of time and good results also. Okay, so 1 minute prayer, whatever prayer you do at home, okay, not a hard and fast do that school prayer or something. Just close your eyes. First, you can remember your parents, like take the blessings for this new academic year and all the good wishes you take, and give your good wishes to others also, best wishes. You pray for others and pray to the Almighty for supernatural forces, whatever you believe in, energy, whatever you can say. Just remember them in your own way. 1 minute. Time starts now. Remember your relatives, your neighbors, those who have given board exam and other things, or likely to give board exam, or some senior level IAS exam or something, whatever. Pray for them that they should do well. In 30 seconds. Okay. Get your teeth if you are not happy. Okay. So this way, whenever you start something like you want some help, which are invisible forces, sometimes they help you out. Sometimes your answers they click in your mind. Why? The thought process which goes on. Okay, sir, maths, I got that formula. Suddenly it clicks in your examination. You prepare very well, but sometimes it goes off track sometimes. So these courses might work. Again, might means normally they work. So because there are two things in this world. One is matter, right? Which you are going to study. Matter in our surrounding. Why today I did that prayer for you? Because related to the topic. So everything is related to the topic which I do. Matter in our surroundings. Right now? How many of you have started this topic in your school? Huh?
It started from my class.
What's your name? You said?
Ritika.
R-I?
B-R-I.
B-R-I-T-I-A. D double T or single?
Single T.
अच्छा, very good. Who else has started? और किसी ने start क्या नाम बोला आपने? हाँ? V-I-S-H-W-A-J-A, right. Then Aditi, yes. Then Anurag. You have not started, huh? Spelling right? Then Manasu, yes. Then
Jignasha.
J
Double E.
double E, Jignasha. Double E D, na? Then
N-Y-A.
N-Y-A.
S-H-A.
Acha, N-Y-A-S-H-A. And
Sanjiti.
S-A-N.
J-I-T-L.
I just first day I'm just getting the feel of these names. So that's why I'm writing over here. Because I may require in between to ask the questions. Clear? So let us see what is matter in our surrounding. There are two things in this universe or this world. Okay, universe is very much part of this. You go for something like astrophysics or astronomy. Then you will go for the other part of the world where Mars, Jupiter, and all those things. Recently, you know very well, okay, that all the planets got aligned. 2 days back. Some planets एक ही line में. Okay, so that is something astronomy or astrophysics if you want to pursue your studies further. But what is matter? Now there are two things which I was about to tell you. One is matter, another is antimatter. Antimatter means what, children? Antimatter is energy. जो अभी हम लोग याद कर रहे थे. एनर्जी. कोई पूछेगा सर मैटर का ऑपोजिट क्या है? जैसे गर्ल का ऑपोजिट क्या है? बॉय. वैसे मैटर का ऑपोजिट क्या है? एंटी मैटर. तो एंटी मैटर मींस समथिंग व्हिच इज has got mass and for example occupies space, but energy does not occupy space. Energy only actually you get a feeling of the energy. Sir, I'm energetic. So energy is another part of this particular. So anything which is not in the form of matter, it is in the form of energy. That's why we were remembering them. Here, now your parents are not in the class now, but you are remembering now at this moment. Here, so what is important over here to understand, likewise your forefathers and others, they are in the form of energy, clear, or antimatter. But we are only dealing in the 9th standard matter. So what is matter? This particular marker is a matter. This particular mobile is a matter. Okay, this mouse is a matter, right? This bottle of water is matter. Now you say, sir, how do you equate them? How do you say that they are matter? No, this is having some mass, yes or no? Right? This is having some mass. This is also having some mass. So anything which actually what has mass and occupies space is called matter. Right? So anything which occupies space and has mass, like this marker is occupying this much space. Clear? Okay. Now when we are talking about mass and which occupies space, then definitely it is matter. Now every matter is made up of what? N number of what? Particles. I'll give you some time. They are made up of particles. I mean, how do you come to know that they are made up of particles? This particular marker, what I do, I chop it off vertically, horizontally. Just like you take a, let us say for example, carrot and chop it or cut it and then do hyperfine form, fine and hyperfine, very small particles of that particular, grating it. chopping it vertically, horizontally, left, right, center, and you find that they are actually what made up of, okay, some kind of particles which are very small, right? Now you further break them, they become very small. Further break them, very small. But a time will come that here you can you see the particle? You can't see, but it's there. Like suppose you break this particle into small and smaller, and finally the smallest, and you find at that point, at one point of time, they cannot be broken down further. And that particular point of time is the particle which is now I'm making it visible, but they are invisible. Those particles which are actually what? Invisible and which cannot be further broken down are called as what?
Atoms.
Atoms. That study we'll do in the 4th chapter. Okay? Atoms and molecules, structure of atom. Very good. So particles. Now these particles, okay, can be, now remember, these particles are basically what smallest particle is atom, but definitely we will not go to this extent. We will just consider that this particular matter is made up of n number of particles. That means this chapter is dealing with what? Study of particles. We can say. Study of particles means study of matter. Why? Because every particle will have mass and occupies space. But before that, if I'm talking about matter, no matter can be actually what? For example, can be classified on the basis of the shape and the volume which they occupy, or the shape and the volume they have. Now, matter can be classified into 3 types. Of course, we know very well matter is made up of particles. But before we understand that particle ka property, because every matter can be divided into 3 parts. Okay, one is what? For example, anything which actually what has got, for example, let us say this particular ice cube. It has got a definite volume, length, breadth, or height. Yes or no? So that means if it is having a definite volume, and also it is having got a definite volume and definite shape also you can see. Means edges are being seen over here. In a defined shape will दिख रहा है, which is nothing but a cubical kind of thing we can say. So this is nothing but what? Definite shape. Then whenever any particle or any matter which is having a definite shape, clear, as well as definite volume is said to be what? Solid. That means this particular, for example, mouse is a solid. Why? Because if you see the smallest unit or smallest particle in this matter, which has been grated, suppose, it will have a well-defined shape. It will have a well-defined volume. Clear? So every solid which is actually having the definition of solid is what? Anything which is having a definite volume and definite shape will be called as what? Solid. Okay? So for example, a single ice cube here, or ice cube we can say, or maybe for example copper, metal, silver, they are all metals basically, or they are all solids. Okay? But this particular matter which is there, who has come? Anurag, Vishwaja is coming. You have got the book? Acha, book here. Manasvi over there. And remain, you have got the books? इनको नहीं मिला. सबको नहीं मिला. आपका नाम? मुझे नहीं मिला. ऋतिका उनका नाम. ठीक है? Now, anything which is actually what? For example, यहाँ पे देखो. अगर suppose this particular, for example, liquid, if I pour in this, the shape is actually what? Like a Coca-Cola bottle over here, but here the shape is what? For example, let us say, for example, cylindrical we can say. That is what is happening when I put this particular matter, okay, in different vessels. It will have a definite volume, clear? So that means what is the other state of matter? For example, liquid. Now, how do you convert that particular solid into liquid? You heat that solid, and at one particular point of time, all the particles which are there, they separate apart and they convert into what? Now, let me tell you one thing more. The solids are having what? Packed atoms or packed particles. You can see this. Here, packing is there. Strong particle or interparticle forces are there. So they are packed together. That means why they are packed together? Because they are closer to each other. When you are having a closeness with your family member, you are always binded to them. you never tend to go out from that place. Why? Because you are very strongly bonded in a way. Okay? So here the particles are having a strong interparticle forces or attraction, and as a result, okay, as a result, you got this book. Take out your chemistry book, sorry, science one book, volume 1. इसमें लिखा रहेगा science volume 1. But keep it with you. Then when you have a physical copy in front of you, you get confidence that yes, and that is the span of attention when you look into the book is more than other than over here. After I complete something, okay? कुछ लिखना नहीं है. I'll give you some time. So here the forces of attraction. Now if you see, for example, here the forces of attraction are stronger. Yes or no? Okay, why? Because if I'm trying to actually what, and moreover, the compactness, how do you account for the compact? When I'm just pressing this, the particles are not going inside. This is not becoming shorter. Why is it not becoming shorter? Because there's no room inside. There's no place inside. Am I right or not? And as a result, the forces of actually what? I mean, these solids cannot be compressed because this is the most compressed state of matter. Right? But in the case of liquid, what actually happens when you heat this solid, what a heat kar do isko. What will happen? When you supply the heat, what will happen? The particles which were close slightly move away. Yes or no?
Space is increased.
Yes, space is increased. And when the space is increased, they have a little bit of freedom. Your freedom of motion is restricted. No freedom of motion. Because if you see, I'm just keeping this in a vertical manner. Is this particular marker becoming longer? I'm keeping my finger in this manner. I mean, are you finding finger becoming, sir, my finger is becoming longer? Is it happening anytime? No. Why? A strong attraction with the other particles, pulling back. So pull back we can say, okay? So here are the particles which are there, okay? And due to this particular weak forces, okay, the liquids do not have what? A definite shape, but they have a definite volume. And what about the forces? The forces of attraction are weaker over here. Here they are stronger. Right now? And the temperature at which the solid becomes a liquid, then that particular process of solid becoming liquid is called as what? Melting process. And the temperature and pressure at which this is happening is called as what? Melting point. What is it?
Melting point.
Because every solid is having a fixed melting point. Normally crystalline solids when we talk about it. Okay? So this process is melting. Now I heat further. When I heat further, what will happen? This particular particle, the forces, the heat is so high, the energy supplied is so high that the forces are broken down. And finally what? These particles are free to move anywhere. And this type of state of matter is called as what? Gas. And the temperature at which this particular liquid changes into gas is nothing but what is boiling point. And at that point, we can say yes, if the liquid is changing into what is a gas, then the process is called as what? Boiling of a liquid. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So what is the boiling point of a water? It is 100 degrees Celsius. What is the melting point of ice? 0 degrees Celsius. In a 0 pe ice melt होगा, right? Or 100 पे liquid boil होगा. Why? The interparticle. Clear? So what is the difference? Definite volume, definite volume. Here, no definite volume. Right now? No definite volume, no definite shape. Shape. What about the forces of attraction between these particles?
It's very big.
It's very weak, negligible. Freedom of motion is maximum. And that's why they are actually what? For example, they do not stay in a vessel, they will move out the moment you open the vessel. Okay? If you keep the vessel open, the gas will move out. And likewise, when you open this door, the air which is there inside will go out, cold air, and the warm air comes inside. Okay? So what is important over here? The difference between solids, liquids, and gas is what? Here, the particles, if it is made up of particles, the particles are not having freedom of motion. Here, the particles are having little bit freedom of motion. Here, particles have maximum freedom of motion. Here particles are continuously moving. Here particles are just to and fro, that is vibratory kind of motion. Okay. Here particles are just, the vibration is very, very small. Here there is a translational motion, rotational motion, vibrational motion. यानी rotate हो सकते हैं molecules या particles. यानी जैसे rotate होते हैं, जैसे merry-go-round rotate. So likewise the particles can rotate. Okay, why? Because they are having freedom of motion. They can translate. They can move in a zigzag manner, like a snake moves in a zigzag manner, or they can actually what? Vibrate. आगे पीछे. Like coming closer, attraction. Moving away, repulsion. So when they come closer, repulsion starts. They go away. Right? And when they go away, they, like for example, they again attract each other, they come back. So basically, this kind of vibrational motion means various motions are maximum over here. Here it is only vibration, and here it is actually what? Very, very minimum motion. Here they can flow, they can also flow. Here the fluidity is maximum, here mobility is less, and here mobility is minimum. Here attraction is maximum, here attraction is less, and here attraction is negligible. Okay? So these are the points of difference between solids, liquids, and gas. And all these particles, if you see, the particles are always going to move continuously in this particular, for example, state. And what is that? Gaseous state. Likewise, when you just cool the gas, it will turn into liquid. And when you turn into liquid, what is that state called as? Condensation. What is called as?
Condensation.
And when you are converting a liquid into solid, it is called as what? Children, you know that? Freezing. Sir, ice is freezing. Liquid is freezing. Right now? So what are the important terms? Melting. Melting point. Wait. Boiling point. Okay? Then condensation point. Ulta. Or condensation. The process is, and then finally freezing. Right now? Now, what is important over here? The different matter, they have different state at the same room temperature. What is that? It's the nature of that material. And water can exist in the liquid state, but this plastic exists in the solid state. So that is the nature of that material to remain in solid, liquid, or gas, depending upon the. So there are two factors, main factors, which are going to allow, for example, a substance to exist in solid or liquid. And what is that? One is most important factor, temperature. Right now? And second is, in the case of gas, definitely it is also one more important thing. What is that? Pressure. So that means what is important over here is there are two main factors at which, which decides whether the substance is going to be, for example, solid, liquid, or gas. One is temperature, other is pressure. Remember? Okay, so every time, whenever you say that this is solid at this room temperature and with this pressure, you must mention that.
I understood how temperature is a factor, but I do not understand how pressure is.
Absolutely, very good question. The question over here, this pressure is always related to the gases. Gases से relate होगा. Solids and liquids में pressure का कोई effect नहीं.
Gas में कैसे effect?
That's what. When you see what is actually happening, when I apply the pressure on the gas, okay, when the gas molecules, like suppose I take a piston over here, let me show you with the help of this. Okay, with the diagram. That's what I was expecting this question. This is a piston, okay, and this is, for example, some gas enclosed in a cylinder with a movable piston. Okay, let us say the pressure from outside is actually what? Some constant pressure, which is room pressure. Okay, ध्यान से सुनिए. अब क्या हो रहा है? When you apply the pressure, like you have put some weights over here, the pressure is through these weights. Now you increase the weights, and you keep some temperature over here. Means you keep this particular cylinder at a certain temperature. Okay, in a room temperature. Okay, या फिर ये AC का temperature. Now what will happen? The moment you pressurize this, means the piston will come down because of due to the weight. And what happens as the piston they come down, यहाँ पे ये gas molecules को क्या होगा? They will come closer. Yes or no?
Yes.
And once they come closer, what they do? They start attracting each other. But in the process, what will happen? They start rubbing against each other. When they start rubbing, when you rub your hand, what happens? Heat is liberated. Now, when the heat is liberated, their energy may increase. kinetic energy will increase. Now, in order to reduce the kinetic energy, बाहर का temperature आपको low करना पड़ेगा. Means you keep some ice, what is it, ice cold freezing mixture outside. Why? जो भी heat बाहर निकलेगा वो trap कर लेगा उसको. In a freezing mixture will trap it. Clear? And finally, what will happen? They will cool down. They will not. And then finally, what they will do? They will attract each other. And when they attract each other, what will happen? They will start forming cluster. They may convert into liquid also, but we have not applied that much of pressure. So what will happen? Due to this pressure, gas molecules have come closer. And a time will come that they get liquefied. They will convert into liquid, na?
Yes.
तो ये जो गैस है प्रेशर के इफेक्ट से लिक्विड में कन्वर्ट होती है. प्रेशर का इफेक्ट हुआ है, ठीक है ना? That is the idea. So this of course will come later on, but at this moment there are two important factors. One is temperature, other is pressure. Because without temperature and pressure, see, unless you heat it, solid cannot convert into liquid. Suppose you keep ice cubes outside the room at this particular this hot afternoon. Okay, don't you think after a few minutes you go out, it has melted? Yeah, it has changed into liquid. What is that effect of temperature? Further you go out and you find that liquid has been converted slowly, it is evaporating. Yes or no? It's converting into gas, going towards the sun. Yes, kind of evaporation, or we can say, for example, if it attains the 100 degrees Celsius, which is not going to be attained at room temperature. But if you heat it, after some time the vessel will become empty. Why? Because it is no longer liquid, it has become a gas which has left the vessel. Yes or no? Just like a bird has laid the eggs, after some time they actually what, small birds, they grow, okay, and then finally what, once they get the wings, nest is empty. Another set of birds are given for eggs are laid. So that is the idea. So this is something which is about the matter and its. So there are three things we discussed. One is what is matter. Second is how to classify the matter. What matter consists of. And then what are the main two factors which can bring about a changes in the state of matter. One is temperature, main factor, and second is pressure. Right? Okay? So write down. Now you write down. Then we'll discuss out the questions. Any doubt you ask me. Okay? Manasvi, any doubt you ask. Okay? मोबाइल सब अंदर रख दो. किसी का मोबाइल अगर ऑन है उसको क्या करो, बैग में रख दो. लेट टेक सम रेस्ट. बिकॉज क्या होगा, अदरवाइज लाइक मोबाइल विल बिकम रेस्टलेस. Isn't it? Ritika, where is your mobile?
It's inside the
bag. Very good. Then Vishwaja,
So I have it got.
you have got Aditi, bag. Very good. Relaxing, na? Then Anurag, pocket में, bag में रख दो. Manasvi, bag, sure, good. जिज्ञासा ना? जिज्ञासा, right. कहाँ पे आपका मोबाइल? बैग में. And संजिता, संजिता ना? संजिता, अच्छा, okay. यहाँ पे आई आनी चाहिए ना? Sanjiti, where is your mobile?
In the bag.
Good. After your lecture, you can see. ये copy ऐसे ही करना है आपको. ठीक है? This no need to copy. If you want, you can copy down. Otherwise, not required. So along with pressure, you do keep the temperature low so that gases may get compressed and they will convert into liquid. In case if you want liquid, want to keep them as gas, you can compress them. That's all. In our cylinder, what is there?
Yes.
Compressed natural gas. What itself? What you have done? Apply the pressure. Likewise, in our aerated water, which drink you like? Coca-Cola. You? Coke. You don't like anything, only water. Very good. Then Coke. Anything else. But all aerated water contains what? Gas. So उसको pressurize करके अंदर रखना. The moment you open the bottle knob, what happens? It fizzes out. So that is a pressure effect. Excess pressure done, like excess gas has been pressurized.
The pressure is released.
When pressure is released, what will happen? When the pressure is released, that particular solubility of the gas is reduced. Gas निकल जाता है. It becomes that drink becomes flat. Okay, bubbles you will find, bubbles rising up. They are the carbon dioxide gas. which has been pressurized with a, for example, and they have to be kept at a low temperature. So what happens? It may burst out also. Sometimes you keep some cold drink bottle in the freezer. What happens? Breaks, na?
Yes. The liquid expands.
Because liquid expands. That is anomalous behavior, na?
Yeah.
That's why it is very dangerous. Don't keep any aerated drinks in freezer. You can keep kulfi and ice cream in the freezer. Nothing to worry. But not the aerated drinks.
Plastic bottle won't explode, right?
Right, that also. Explode, yeah? What is that? What is it? The top will come out. Yes, because nothing can stop that pressure which is existing inside. What? Done?
Yeah.
Now let's come to some activities over here. Activities come another way. The first question arises, sir, how do you account that the matter is made up of particles? Okay? So for that, let us understand this particular concept of this. Matter is made up of particles. Let's understand this. If matter is made up of particles, तो पहले उसका proof क्या है? That matter is made up of particles. Okay? Let us understand this activity. Matter is made up of particles. Okay? Now let us come to. I take, for example, let us say a vessel. Right? Yes, then I fill up this particular, for example, vessel partially with water. Right? And then I take, let us say, small amount of sugar or salt. Just add one pinch. Right? The moment I add, and there is a stirrer over here, suppose. Okay. So the moment I add, I am able to see the particles with my naked eye. And then when I stir it, I find they actually what? Vanish. Yes or no? But the level which are marked over here of water remains the same. Means this sugar, which was having definitely a good reasonable size, this became small and smaller, and these particles of water, in between these particles of water, there was a small interparticle space. Yes or no? उसके बीच में जाके वो चले गए. Yes or no?
Yes.
And therefore, and moreover, since they were actually small, they started becoming small and smaller. That's why they could they could be accommodated in those interparticle spaces of water. That's why the water level did not rise. Moreover, they are made up of particles.
Why did they become small?
Huh?
Why did they become small?
Very good question. Why they become smaller? Because they are made up of particles.
The particles break down.
वही particles है, इसीलिए वो टूट के अपना break down होके small particles में convert हो रहे हैं ना. They are not in the form of big lump. ठीक है? And secondly, they tend to have a tendency to get dissolved in water. Dissolution is another property. वो आगे आएगा. फिलहाल तो ये है. But they become small and small. But there is one more story behind it. What is that? अनुराग, क्या स्टोरी लग रहा है आपको? आपने बचपन में सुना होगा स्टोरी. ये मैं आपको ऐसा बताता हूँ.
The thirsty crow.
Thirsty crow. इसमें थोड़ा पानी था पहले. तो thirsty crow ने क्या किया? ठीक है? तो ये actually contradict करेगा ये theory. कैसे? What he did, what that crow did, he started putting stones, right? But stone तो particle form में नहीं हो रहा है. They are occupying more and more space of water. So that particular water level was increasing. Yes or no?
Yes.
Because they were occupying that space of water only. And as a result, that particular water level rose, and finally that crow actually what? Could drink water. इसमें क्या हो रहा है? ये insoluble है, ये soluble. Since you asked this question, that's why. वो stone soluble नहीं था. इसीलिए that particular crow was able to quench his thirst. Right ना? ये थोड़ा सा different है. लेकिन I'm just telling you, this is another property of dissolution. Plus, there is one more thing: interparticle spaces are there in water molecules. But secondly, how do you say that they are made up of small particles? उसके लिए एक और important. For example, these particles are extremely small. How do you account for it? इसके लिए क्या करना है? You take, for example, a vessel, a beaker, and put some water, and add just say 1 or 2 grains of KMnO4. What is KMnO4? Potassium permanganate, which is a disinfectant. In pandemic, we used to use this potassium permanganate, just germicide. ठीक है? लाल कलर का एक bottle में fine particles of KMnO4 you get, and उसको पानी में डाल के you can wash the vessels. Okay, of course, along with the soap. So after washing with soap, then you actually you can just put in a bucket containing, okay, KMnO4 solution. They used to put that vessel inside, remove it, clean with normal water. And that is the way that germs used to get killed. Anyway, 1 grain or 2 grains, the moment you add, this particular KMnO4 is purple in color. पूरा stir करो, dissolve हो जाएगा, and you get purple color. Take 10 ml of this solution, 10 ml इसका ले लो, और एक दूसरे vessel में डालो, जिसमें again you are having water in that. This pink color, which was very much in depth, okay, has become light pink. Again, take 10 ml from this particular vessel and put in a, for example, that particular KMnO4 in another vessel which is having again same amount of liquid water, and then put it again, this will become light. That is, they become small and smaller. Time aggregate will become colorless, but that indicates that they are made up of what? Very, very small particles, and they further break down into smaller and smaller particles. That is another important. Follow? Okay, ये दोनों चीज समझ में आया? Let us see that activity. First, before that, we read the content. ठीक है? हाँ. Read the content और फिर हम लोग questions पे जाते हैं. तो questions अगर हो गया, paper pattern first page में दिए. What is the paper pattern? Let us look at this. In 8 you are having different paper pattern, na? Or same paper pattern? Same, na?
A little different.
Little different. Okay, let us see this. First question अगर देखोगे, maximum marks for this particular is 100. Theory paper 80, right, na? Then internal assessment 20. Board paper like theory based question 80. Okay? And then internal assessment how much? School test weightage. Average marks of the two tests, two best tests, practical experiment lab and all this work, weightage 5 marks, miscellaneous 5 marks, regularity, completion of classwork, homework on time, neatness, ये सब अपना उसमें आ जाएगी. ठीक है? Question paper design, total marks 80, time 3 hours. ठीक है? Number of section how many? 3. Section A 20 marks, 1 mark question. Section B 30 marks, 3 marks. Section C again 30 marks, 25 to 30. And then you find, for example, some internal choice over there. So as we do the topic, that time I'll tell you clear, but this is the overall kind of picture for this. Okay, weightage has been given over here. Course structure for 9th annual examination matter, its natural, its nature and behavior kitna hai? 23 marks. Organization in the living world is 20. Motion, force and work 27. ठीक है, our environment is 6, ऐसे करके total 80 marks हो रहे हैं, right ना? Okay, उसमें nature and behavior में चारों topic आ जाएंगे, nature of matter, particle nature, basic unit, structure of atom, ठीक है ना? All those things. Now let us come to matter in ourselves. Ritika, पढ़ पहला sentence पढ़. Introduction. Sit down, read.
Introduction.
One sentence everybody will read. Okay? And any word you are not following, you tell me, I'll explain. So then.
Introduction.
No.
Physical nature of matter.
नहीं, अरे ऐसा नहीं है. क्या है? Sorry, अरे नाम ही हो गया. क्या है? Ritika ना?
Yes. VRITIK.
VRITIK.
Not an H.
हाँ, H नहीं है. हाँ. Next वाला क्या था? अनुराग ना? नहीं, विश्वजा. WISH. VISH. WAJ. Right. चलो. और अभी क्या करना है? Introduction ऐसा नहीं कि she will read introduction. Introduction she will read and first sentence she will read. After that second sentence you will read. Third sentence she will read. Then next he will read. ऐसा करके.
From here, right?
हाँ, first.
Introduction. Everything in this universe is made up of material which scientists have named matter.
Yes. But second.
Everything is matter. As we look around, all the things occupy space and have mass. In other words, they have both mass and volume.
Yes.
Early Indian philosophers classified matter in the form of 5 basic elements.
Panchatattva. Yes, we are made up of 5 elements. What is that? Air. The air which we breathe in and out. Earth. Our skin is earth. Okay? Matti hai bol rahe isko. Fire is there in the stomach because there the combustion process takes place, digestion. And then sky is nothing but the space. That's why you always, whenever you have food, you should have 80% of your, let us say, for example, your food means whatever food you want. Okay, you should always eat less than what is you're desiring for. Like you want 5 rotis, 5 chapatis. Okay, but out of that only 3 or 4 you should have. Why? Because some space has to be kept. So that digestion or some kind of circulation properly, the stomach also should be half filled or let us say 3/4. Then water, or 75%, yes, 70 to 75%. Come on, next one.
Modern day scientists have evolved 2 types of classification on matter based on their physical properties and chemical nature.
Yes, chemical nature and physical properties. Physical properties means what? Length, breadth, height, solubility, temperature, melting point, boiling point, density, color, composition. Chemical properties means matter reacting with air, matter reacting with water, matter reacting with acid, matter reacting with base. वो chemical property, chemical nature, उसका chemical composition, right? Then
Physical.
Manaswi, पढ़िए. नहीं, you have read what you read now. अभी तुम्हारा हाँ, right? Physical nature of matter. Matter is made up of particles. First point you read out.
The whole thing.
हाँ, particles of matter are small और फिर आगे एक sentence पढ़िए.
Particles of matter are small. There are millions of tiny particles in just one crystal of substance.
Oh, billions of tiny particles in just one crystal. That's why what was happening? That pink color was continuously coming. Yes or no? Then
Which keep on dividing themselves into smaller and smaller particles.
yeah, that activity which I showed. Come on. Then
Characteristics of particles of matter. Particles of matter have spaces between them. Particles of one type of matter get into the spaces between particles of other. This shows that there is enough space between particles of matter. However, the original level of the liquid is not
does
rise.
not rise. Give the explanation. Next one.
Particles of matter are continuously moving.
Right.
Particles of matter are continuously moving. That is,
They possess
what we call
kinetic energy because anything moving is kinetic. You find, for example, a car moving, kinetic. Car stationary, potential energy. Bench stationary, potential. Fan moving, kinetic or mechanical, you can see. Okay, so anything moving, water flowing down the hill, kinetic. Water is in the dam, potential. जो stationary है, potential है, और जो moving है, वो kinetic है. So our energy is divided into two parts, kinetic and potential. Kinetic means energy associated with the movement, and potential means energy associated with the position or the station. Station is kind of, for example, where the energy is not moving at all. Okay, वो potential, right? Then
as the temperature rises, particles move faster.
yes.
So with increase in temperature, the kinetic energy of the particles also
Now,
increases.
did you follow this? That temperature का जो factor है, kinetic energy अगर ज़्यादा होगा, means the temperature if it is more, the particle will move faster. Remember. So then that means the kinetic energy measures or temperature measures the kinetic energy of the gas or maybe matter. If temperature is high, kinetic energy of the matter is more. And उसमें particles ज़्यादा vibratory motion show करेंगे. ठीक है, चलो next.
Particles have interparticle spaces.
Very good.
Particles of matter intermix on their own with each other. They do so by getting into the spaces between the particles. This intermixing of particles of two different types of matter on their own is called diffusion.
Diffusion. What is diffusion? You burn a joysticks or agarbatti in this one corner. After some time, that aroma or that fragrance is actually what spread throughout. Yes or no?
Yes.
Or you take one, let's say, glass of water and you put some amount of milk in that, 1 teaspoonful. So milk pura spread hoga. Or you take some ink drops. So how they spread out in that water? That's called diffusion process. Okay, so what is diffusion? Spreading of one substance into the body of another. It's called diffusion. Or intermixing of two substances. Okay, like two gases are intermixing. Those particles of joysticks are intermoving. They are occupying those spaces between the air particles. Diffusion. Okay? Followed that? So then.
On heating, diffusion becomes faster.
Yes. अगर आप heat करेंगे वो vessel में, तो you find that vibratory motion की वजह से या move circulation की वजह से, like suppose you're preparing a cup of tea and just add some amount of tea leaves and you heat it. What happens? That brown color spreads very fast. ना पहले ऊपर ही white color होगा या colorless होगा, but the moment you start heating, starts rolling, doing that roly-poly, and finally what? The whole that particular water, okay, becomes brownish color. Okay, because of the tea leaves spreading everywhere and giving that color. Okay, so then.
Can I say that we are constantly, whenever we move, we are diffusing the air?
Yeah, definitely. Diffusing means we are actually, yes, diffusing means we are spreading every place and we are a kind of diffusion. We are showing diffusion property. Okay, and you are allowing those gases to move from one place to another because of movement. Okay.
Particles of matter attract each other.
Yes.
Particles of matter have force acting between them. This force keeps the particles together. The
Yes.
strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to another.
Yes. Can you follow? Solid में सबसे ज़्यादा force of attraction, liquid में उससे कम, and gas में उससे भी कम. Yes or no? हो गया? ठीक है? Next one. States of matter. चलो, what the last one?
Matter around us exists in three different states: solid, liquid, and gas.
Yes.
These states of matter arise due to the variation in the characteristics of the particles of matter.
Very good. Solid state. कौन पढ़ रहा है?
The solid state. Solids have a definite shape, distinct boundaries, and fixed volumes. That is, they have negligible compressibility.
Yes.
They have a tendency to maintain their shape when subjected to outside force and may break under force, but it is difficult to change this shape. So they are rigid.
As they are, so they are rigid. Yes, matter is like solid and very much rigid. You cannot easily change that unless and until a clay you have. But clay is containing some water. इसीलिए वो mold कर सकते हैं. But एक hard clay you cannot. ये वो टूट जाएगा. Because it will.
Paper.
Huh?
Fold paper.
Paper can be folded because that is very much tender. Na? Because जो चीज tender रहता है उसको like some exceptions are there. Okay, like paper, but still it is actually what, for example, very difficult to we can say, for example, यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? Rigid है. Means once you actually what start, you know, for example, forcing them to come closer, what will happen? They will crumble or they will tear apart, but they will not actually what come together. Basically. So there is another. There is also kind of small way of rigidity. Clear? Okay. The next one. Liquid state.
The liquid state.
One paragraph you will read, all of you.
Liquids have no fixed shape, but they have a fixed volume.
Yes.
They take up the shape of the container in which they are kept.
Yes.
Liquids flow and change shape, so they are not rigid but can be called fluid.
Yes. Manashwi padi.
Solids and liquids can diffuse into liquids. The gases from the atmosphere diffuse and dissolve in water. These gases, especially oxygen and carbon dioxide, are essential for
Yes.
survival.
You know very well that gases can diffuse in water. That's why aquatic life is actually what surviving because of oxygen getting dissolved in water. That's why aquatic life, that is plants and animals, are able to sustain that life over there. Next one.
The aquatic animals can breathe underwater due to the presence of dissolved oxygen in water. Thus, we may conclude that solid, liquid, and gases can diffuse into liquids. The rate of the diffusion of the liquid is higher than that of solid.
Yes, because solids are rigid. Liquids are having some interparticle spaces, so they allow the other substances to come inside. It's due to the fact that
Liquid state particles move freely and have greater space between each other as compared to particles in solids.
yes, solid में क्या हो रहा है? They are not allowing the particles to come in between. Why? The spaces are very much less. But in liquid, the spaces are more, so they can diffuse. Right? So, gaseous state.
The gaseous state. Gases are highly compressible.
Yes, they are highly compressible as compared to.
Solid.
Why they are compressible? Because the interparticle spaces are maximum. Chalo, good. Next one.
The liquefied petroleum gas LPG cylinder that we get in our home for cooking for all the oxygen supplied to hospitals in cylinders is compressed gas.
Compressed gas. You must have seen those cylinders of oxygen. Okay, and CNG in our cars as well as LPG. Come on. Further, compressed natural gas.
CNG is used as fuel these days in vehicles. Due to its high compressibility, large volumes of a gas can be compressed into a small cylinder and transported easily.
Easily cylinder को transport कर सकते हैं by taking this huge amount of gas from this room and just suck the gas and put it in for example, they have a vacuum pump and push it inside the cylinder and you can. That's why when you find you go to the petrol pump, some kind of sound, na?
Yeah.
The pipe, because that's tremendous pressure with which the gas is pushed inside. The moment you remove the pressure, some gas which is left out goes out with a great force and produces sound. Then,
due to high speed of particles and large space between them, gases show the ability of diffusing very fast into other gases.
yes, gases because of tremendous interparticle spaces, okay, and due to high speed, the gases can diffuse much faster. That's why in the mining area, you find, for example, the miners, what they do, they wear the gas mask, poisonous gas mask to prevent that, because there are no stairs. they have to go by lift, and lift only 1 or 2 lifts are there, and hundreds of workers are actually what do the mining of coal, and when they mine it, what happens? The rocky substances, when they come out, when they chisel out or they peel out, okay, some gases which are trapped like hydrogen sulfide or carbon monoxide, they are quick to engulf that person or those workers over there. Okay, and if they don't have a gas mask, they can only sustain for something like some few minutes. So these gas masks are nothing but because gases they diffuse much faster. Okay, then
In the gaseous state, the particles move about randomly at high speed.
very good.
Due to this random movement, the particles hit each other and also the walls of the container.
Yes.
The pressure exerted by the gas is because of this.
Yeah, this is very important point to understand. ये जो pressure जो concept she was asking is not only from pressure from outside but pressure from inside also. Now these gases are exerting the pressure on the walls of the container also because they're moving and they're banging on this. Okay? A banging of group of molecules on a particular area with a certain force is called as a pressure. Because what is pressure? Force exerted by the group of molecules. Like suppose I want to break this door. Group of students also come and join because we are for example let us say getting suffocated. So हम लोग ये door के बाहर जाना पड़ेगा. So what we have to do? We have to apply force, and that force exerted on this area only because we know very well this tender पहले इसको break कर देंगे. Okay, जिससे कि हम लोग at least for example we can breathe properly. तो इसको break करने के लिए सब लोग यहाँ पे force लगाएंगे. Out of that unit area जो भी force लगा है उसको बोलते हैं pressure. So pressure concept is what I will explain you further. Force exerted by group of molecules, which is group of molecules with certain mass. Force applied by group of molecules on a unit area is called pressure. So जितना quantity gas का होगा उतना pressure ज़्यादा होगा because force भी ज़्यादा होगा. ज़्यादा student यही force इधर लगाएंगे. So definitely mass भी ज़्यादा है because what is force? Mass into acceleration. You know that ना force का ये concept 8 में किया कि नहीं force nothing to worry चलिए ठीक है that is called as what pressure. So group what is pressure? The concept of pressure is force exerted by group of molecules on a particular area is called pressure. ठीक है बस इतना ही है हो गया. So आज के लिए इतना काफी है. Now
I have a doubt.
हाँ बोलो.
Since gases have the tendency of diffusing with each other because space and speed of the particles, how do we separate certain gases that we put in the cylinder? How do we prevent them from mixing with the gas surrounding us?
Which gases you're talking about? On the basis of condensation. Because some gases, they boil at a high temperature. Some gases they boil at a low temperature. Like oxygen. Suppose, this room में oxygen and nitrogen. So boiling point of nitrogen is 77 Kelvin. Boiling point of oxygen is 90 Kelvin. Kelvin in the sense it is boiling at a higher temperature. So like suppose you cool down this gas, this room. So gas, liquid oxygen will the oxygen which is going to be in the liquefied form and will be liquefied first, and but nitrogen will be in the form of gas. So उसको हम लोग क्या करेंगे? We'll take it out from this chamber and the oxygen will be in the liquid state. यानी partly that one of the gas will be in the liquid state, other will be gas. The gas will be thrown out.
So we convert.
So on the basis of
conversion of state is used.
Yeah, conversion of state. Sometimes we use certain, for example, charcoal. Charcoal we use to absorb the gases. So we use it. So there are various methods. Distillation, okay? Fractional distillation we call it as. So those things are there. Of course, the second topic you will understand that various methods, how we separate the substances. So homework will be today is to read this part and do these questions. The questions which are there are as follows. Page number 10. Question number 1. Question number 2. Question number 3. Question number 4. Question number 6. And question number 5. ठीक है? और 6 का दोनों A and B पार्ट दोनों कर सकते हैं. बस इतना कर दो. 1 to 6. लिख के करना है, लिखना है, पहले याद रखना है, and then you do. One short test will be taken, closed book test. Next time, 1 to 6 question के ऊपर. I will ask 3 questions. You have to write the answer without seeing. ठीक है? So thank you very much. Okay, enjoy your break and then we'll continue with the next lecture. What's the next lecture after?
Maths.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
I think it's not fast.